times I'm gonna call this to order at 6:03. Don't be sorry. Just taking charge, Jamie. Good. Let's go. Yeah, just kidding. Updates to capital plan and budget.
All right. So we'll start. So we'll start from the nice capital improvement plan. We'll start with that spreadsheet. So we have so we got free cash certified. It came in a little over 2.8 million. So from that 2.8, we're going to spend 1.6 of it, and I'll go right down. So if you skip the beginning part, because that's just the projected debt for the current stuff that we already have at the top. So we'll skip the first 4 numbers. So we'll go down to the 500 for health. So we got bids in for the landfill that we authorized a couple years ago at 2 million. They came in a little bit higher. So we're gonna throw with contingency at like 2.3, 2.4.
So the bids came, the third lowest bid, because we have to go with where we're currently evaluating the lowest 3 bids. So right now we're just assuming if the first 2 bids get thrown out, we'd go with the third one. It came in at 2.1 million. Now with their revised projected budget that the consultant provided, he included a 10% contingency and 8% for engineering throughout the project. So decided to use the even number of $500,000 to supplement into that project, so that we can award the contract and cover any contingencies that might come up through construction.
So that's where the 500's from. So that was new from last time. So we just got those bids in last week.
But we still, DEP still accepting where we're at for this closure? Have they not put any additional requirements on us?
Well, PFAS stuff, but
yeah, that is what we had budgeted last year with some of that testing requirements. So we've complied with everything up to date with that.
Okay.
Right now we have the full quote based off of the bids were based off of the full closure.
yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
So we're gonna do $50,000 for plan design studies, but it's not. We want to make sure we don't. It's so. At the last selectmen's meeting, we had talked about 50,000 for senior center evaluation. This is not the same 50,000.
So this is primarily one of the efforts I'm looking at doing is a capital study for infrastructure on Route 20 specifically to try to target new business. I've been working with a consulting firm that kind of specializes in this stuff, and they give you kind of a range of different services they could provide, and I think $50,000 will more than cover it. But that's more or less the target for this funding. But then also leaving a little bit more in there if we have any grant opportunities that come up to be able to use it for matching funds.
Would that be like a marketability study so that we can show businesses what we can offer?
Yeah. So it's kind of 2 parts. Part of it is marketability. The other part is kind of an assessment of the infrastructure that's there and putting together a plan as far as what infrastructure we should be investing in. So if it's water expansion, if it's looking at municipal fiber, just kind of like what are the different options the town should look at that would enhance the economic viability of some of these parcels.
That's great.
And then the next one down is 20,000 for blighted property enforcement, to try to clean up some of the properties around town that haven't listened to our suggestions of cleaning up their property on their own. So I know that building's been looking at doing some stuff, so money towards probably mostly legal, but left it open-ended in case they need something else, but to help him clean up some of the properties in town.
Sorry that I keep asking questions.
No, that's fine.
So there's a program through the state, through the health department.
Correct.
Will we utilize that?
I've already been in contact with them. I know that they have specific requirements because they're looking mostly toward residential
They are.
and trying to get houses into receivership.
Right.
So this is kind of like, we know we want to target that program.
Right.
But we know that there's a lot more that we probably have to do on the ground.
Okay.
First.
And then will we, say we enforced against the property, will we put a lien against that property so we will recoup the costs?
Yes.
That is the intent.
Yep.
Thank you.
So the next line is blank because that was that engineering for the 50,000 for the senior center. So we had taken that off per the selectmen last time. Next down is 50,000 for the police station building improvements, just continual maintenance down at the police station down there for him to do some things around. And then some traffic enforcement technology. He has a couple ideas and some things he wants to do for that. And then emergency response equipment. So we possibly may get a grant for some tactical gear. So I left that kind of open for him if he wants to do a little bit something else. If he said he does get the grant, he'll just give it back.
Just a little spelling over
Yep. Then the next two are highway, same thing, 2 dump trucks, the big dump trucks with plows and sanders. And then next down for fire, so HVAC replacement in their current station, 95 for car 1 replacement, 110,000 for squad 1 replacement, and then down to tech, we have 80,000, which is our usual article for continual upgrades to technology around town. For town hall, 50 grand towards window replacements to start replacing some of the windows in the building. 34,000 to repave Westridge Cemetery, and then 20,000 to do some ADA improvements and building repairs over at library.
it. On the cars and trucks,
Yes.
we always get burned with rising costs. Are those like on order?
Those were your two. You have quotes for them already, and then your two.
Like those quotes?
They're not on order, but they're willing to hold
Yeah.
if we find that you guys are favorable.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep, mine are.
Yeah, you just got updated quotes too for me because we tweaked the number a little bit. So
Good.
that's it for free cash stuff. Does anybody have any questions before I move on to the other? Okay. So,
Do you want us to take a vote on
well, we'll do it. Well, let's do it all together because there's another piece, not free cash wise, but another piece to the capital plan.
this? Okay.
So I'll skip. Let's go to the single page because this is explaining all the numbers that are on that other page. So to start, so every year the assessor will go around town and she'll look at new properties, get numbers in from businesses and personal property in the businesses and in homes. And she does that and she'll get it certified like September, October timeframe, and that's what we use for new growth. So usually our number is always really low. We're at like usually like 350 mark. Obviously with Amazon lately and all the big projects, LNG and all that, our number has been a lot favorable. This year, we had a huge increase because all of Amazon's personal property hit. So we were able to tax them not only on the robots, the conveyance systems in the building, but also on all of their inventory as well that was inside the building. So we're looking at probably like 5 million in new growth. So we budgeted 800.
Yeah, we used 800 as a conservative number
Right.
when we did our operational budget.
So we have like a
Pretty
little over,
conservative.
we have a little over 4 million coming in.
Yeah.
So
But this is a very much an anomaly.
right, this
So
will
that's
never
why
happen
we didn't
again.
That's why we
And-
didn't want to budget
Right,
operationally.
personal property is also depreciating, and obviously that inventory is coming in and out of the building. So this will obviously happen every year.
Sure.
So with that being said, Andrew, Kathy, who's our assessor, and I all sat down and we talked. If we don't spend it now, it would hit the taxpayer. So if we spend it now towards one-time things, it's 100% Amazon paying for it. So obviously, with the known cost of insurance and a couple other things that we knew we had in our back pocket, like had coming up, we're gonna spend some of it towards budget stuff, not much, and then the rest of it's all gonna be one time, probably putting it to stabilization. So if you look at this one, the sheet here, I'll go down the list. So Andrew looked at some report that said we should have about, was it 5% of our 2% of our budget
I think it was only about 1%.
of the budget in FinCom reserves fund to be
A minimum of 1%.
right, to be like look better financially. So we did the math. If we throw another 50,000 into your reserve fund, and then we'll budget based off that number. So I think right now we're at 150. So this would put us at 200,000. So every year I'll just tweak that number if we need to based on budget. But we'll put some of that aside.
Is that what we use if the snow and ice needs?
No,
So
this is, go ahead.
This
Yeah.
is emergency in the middle of the operation.
Like the
Unforeseen,
boiler
yeah.
and so.
Unforeseen, unexpected, yeah. Right, yeah. Like if the whole, like our HVAC went in this building, we had no idea, like we didn't plan on it. Obviously, say it's 10 years old and it went, we weren't budgeting on replacing it because it's only 10 years old. You could use that money towards it.
Thanks.
$80,000 into HR contract obligations, mostly for retirement, but we had a couple personnel adjustments that we had to make based on people coming in. They came in higher than what they had budgeted at, new replacements. So put money into there to supplement that. We're gonna do, so there's 20,000 for legal. We actually ended up putting it into free cash, and I'm gonna move 12,000 from Kurt's building fine and enforcement's account. I updated it on the town warrant. To put it into special counsel for legal issues, because he's been kind of dwindling that down a little bit to fight in court with some landowners in town on building stuff. So he's gonna move money based on the fines that he gets into legal to kind of supplement that. 40,000 in municipal energies, because we got the bids back and they kind of came in higher, so some of our utilities are a little higher this year. So we're just already trending a little higher, so put some money aside in there just to cushion that a little bit. We're gonna do money, 150,000 to town hall for some town hall improvements. We have a couple different ideas on some things to do. We just have to get final, obviously, bids back on that, but put money aside to do some work to this building.
So primarily, it's if you look downstairs, there's no drop ceilings, everything's
Right.
exposed. We've kind of gotten the direction from the board as to, that senior center is probably going to be here long term, so we need to try to invest a little bit.
Put $2,000 into emergency management because the grants that we used to get are all gone. And talking with Nick, he is having a hard time getting snowplow drivers every year because the cost of everything is going up. No one really wants to plow snow. Between that and the workload with the MS4 stuff from the state for stormwater, he could really use another body. So we were thinking if you guys were on board, do it for January 1 and do a half year this year with that money, and then obviously it would go into budget for next year. But what is nice with that is in their current contract, which hopefully they will settle tonight, they had agreed to going to 75-25 on the insurance, which right now we're all 80-20. So any new hire that comes in would be at 75-25. So it would be a savings on insurance from what we normally are at, as well.
How will we budget for that? I know you said we'll just put it in next year.
Next
but,
year's
like,
budget.
How are we just gonna put it in? We don't really always have the funds to just
So as
add
you know,
employees.
that our starting point,
Right.
as we're budgeting for next year, is that $5 million in new growth.
Right. That will get added to the levy.
Right.
But it's
next year.
But it's one time, right? We don't base what we're doing on one time.
So
For
our new,
payments.
when we calculate our 2.5% increase
Right.
for next year, it's at that new point that we're at with the
So it's
5 million.
expanded.
Correct,
So
yeah.
that-
But that 5 million will still be there next year from Amazon because they're still gonna have to pay for person. It will just say everything else was the same, it depreciates a little bit.
Okay.
So keeping that in mind, we do have the additional next year. It
Okay.
will be there, from them. It just will dwindle a little bit. So knowing that we're really the only thing that's gonna reoccur here is the insurance and that body.
Yeah.
So out of that 5 million, we're really only spending 500,000.
Primarily by using excess levy capacity, we're
Right.
guaranteeing a more stable, single-family home tax bill.
Right.
Where if we were to just not utilize this and maybe realize a one-time savings, when we go to utilize that because, the school assessment gets recalculated based off of new growth,
Right.
you could see a 10% increase at least in the residential, right?
Right.
At least if we prepare for a little bit of an increase, then the next year it's just another little increase. It's
Right.
not it's
A
not a
huge jump.
whiplash.
Right, because it's still there, it's getting added to your levy capacity at that point.
Thanks.
So down next, the 450,000 for our mid-year insurance increase, which we've talked about, so we'll use that from the new growth. And then our one-time numbers here will be, we're gonna put 1.5 away into regular stabilization. $1 million into capital stabilization, so there's our two savings, and then we're gonna do another $250 into OPEB. So totally, we're gonna spend a little over 3.5 million of that new growth. And then we've talked, because, I mean, potentially, I know in North Andover, is the comparable Amazon facility to ours. They've had a little bit of back and forth between them and their assessor, and they've taken them to the appellate tax board, which is the court for your value, so you can go and fight your value at the in court with them. Our assessor would like to put a little bit of money into her overlay this year to cushion it, just in case they came back and said anything. So she's gonna fund 800,000 into that, so that will bring us right at that 5 million mark with the 800,000 that we already budgeted. So all together, you have your free cash numbers there, and then the money that we're spending on a new growth, which will all go onto the
What
warrant.
does stabilization go to then?
I think we're at 6. Let's get to the back of this quick. So with the additional, we'll be a little over 6, so 6.1 million in stabilization, and then we'll be at a little over 2 million in capital. And our hope is that if anything happens with our insurance company in the year, that we padded up stabilization extra, so if we had to come back, we could use that. Hopefully, we don't have to touch it, but we have a nice savings going, so. Does anybody have questions?
The only
A
thing
lot.
is when we talk about increasing bodies, we typically don't do it, I feel like, from,
Well, we wouldn't do it from free cash.
I
But
know.
this is, we don't normally have this much new growth in the middle of the year like this.
Totally fair. I just want to make sure we don't get into practice of
Yeah,
squeezing in new
right.
positions
Yep.
through this method.
Yeah. It was just the timing, I mean, ideally, if we would have known this back in budget season,
We would,
yeah. Because he had come to me and asked, and I was like, it's kind of tight this year. I don't know if we're really going to be able to, but we had no idea about this then.
Yeah, at that point, the new growth is really just a guess. And so we
Right.
more or less try to look at a 5-year trend. And at this point, we're going back 5 years and looking back on that prior 5 years because
Right.
of how
The-
abnormal the last few have
Right.
been.
yeah.
So that's why we're trying to be very conservative with our new growth estimates, and we had a 20% insurance increase. We had a 9% increase in
To
the
the
school
school.
assessment. So
Right.
that basically ate up almost everything that we
Right.
were looking at that time. So that's
Yeah.
why we were being very conservative with new bodies.
Right. That and knowing that we'll have additional fire staff once the new building opens.
Yeah.
But with this coming, this was like, okay, well, since he's asked
Highway has not asked for
a new
lot of
body and
personnel
when was the
resources.
last time you got an additional body? I want to say,
7
yeah,
years
before.
ago.
I say that's right when I started. Or before.
Well, I'm not arguing that, but
Yeah.
we did have people come forward and kind of prioritize like what we were asked during the budget season.
Right.
And we said no to some of those options. And so, is there anything that we need to revisit?
I think the
Like
only one that
that.
we said no to was
Library at the time.
And one of the fire positions that was proposed, I thought there was like 2 fire, 2 police, and we said
I
yes
think one
to
of them
one
was
and
an
one.
one of them was an EMD, which we
Was
combined
a deputy.
into which we combined into the admin sergeant at police, and then he got the EMS. I think the only
Who's
person
gonna
that we said no
see whether or
to.
not it fit within that role.
Right.
Before. We haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah.
We kind of want to get through a full year of them actually having that new administrative sergeant position before we determine that we definitely need a standalone EMD.
Right.
Okay.
Or a
So-
standalone deputy EMD.
Right.
I trust you to make those decisions. I just wanted to make sure that we had
Yeah.
revisited the
Right.
people at
Yeah, we
Access.
did, and the only
Yeah,
only
that's
one
what
that
I'm getting
only
at.
one that we did was library. That's really the only one we actually said no to.
Okay.
Which, remember.
I felt strongly about that at the time.
Right.
Supplementing
Yeah.
the
And with
school
we lost the director that presented
Who had
budget to you
asked
has stepped down. They have a new director there, and I don't. She hasn't come to ask for it again. So,
Okay.
but I know you guys didn't agree. So, this was the only one that wasn't technically on there that could have been.
Sure.
But
I
again, not that I don't believe it's needed,
Sure,
just that
yeah.
we have been approached about other things.
I
No,
just
I
don't wanna say
understand.
no to others and do it in an
Right,
unconventional method.
Yeah. So that was the only one that we had said no to, was library. Everything else we handled, I think, within budget.
Okay,
Minus the deputy EMD, but
that's the one I was thinking of. as well.
yeah. So, do you guys want to take a vote that you support anything? Do you want to change anything? Do you want to add anything?
The motion that we move forward with the capital plan as proposed.
Second.
Second?
Yeah.
Second? All in favor?
They all seconded.
I know, right?
Brian.
Pick one.
And it was
I'll let you run through
unanimous.
the articles, and then you guys can come in.
Yeah. I'll let you.
6:45, and let me know how you vote.
Do you want to vote with them? I'll run through them with you quickly, and then we can vote with the selectmen, or that's what we usually do. But I'll run through the articles quickly so you guys have a look at them.
Have fun.
Thanks. Let's see what the seats are. I'm gonna sit in that corner. So I know Bill's not here this year, so I don't know if anyone will do a motion to support like 1 through 6, but no. There's a lot only because there's some
A lot of redline.
there's some adjustments for bylaws, which you guys don't take stance on. So I think there's only 5
Last
money
year we did
articles.
it with the board of selectmen, we're not.
Right. No, I'm just gonna go through them really quickly.
We are gonna
just
do it
just
with
so
them.
they see them.
We're just gonna talk about it now.
Oh.
Yeah,
We
kind
don't
of
vote them.
Right,
Okay,
yeah.
If that's okay.
Normally we look at it, I think before the meeting anyway. But, so I'll run through quickly. So Article 1, we had 6 bills come in like the beginning of August, and I had already closed. So these are all bills from a prior year that all had money in their accounts to pay. We just got the bills really late, so there's a handful of those.
Can I just ask you a question?
Yes.
And I'm sorry if I asked you this before, but I don't think I did. In the previous town, one of the previous towns I worked in, this was really significantly frowned upon, and really something that was, as employees, we were told, you can't have this happen.
Yeah,
Because it will impact our approval ratings,
yeah.
like with financial institutions. Okay. Just wanted to
So,
understand
do
if
you
there was
think
any
no?
negative.
So the
impact.
only
Do you think
thing.
no because of the amount?
No, the only thing that really would be frowned upon is if, okay, so say you came to me like middle of August and said, oh my god, I just found this bill, but you had no money left from the prior year, that's frowned upon, because then it's like, okay, well, you just, looks like you saved it to pay in the next fiscal year because you knew you didn't have money for it, but then, July 1st we get a new round of money, and it requires a different vote at town meeting, so instead of being majority, it'd be a 9/10 vote, but it doesn't really affect our approval rating, and we usually don't have that many of them, but they're.
Yeah, I know there's usually only 1 or 2, but
Yeah.
every time I sat as an audience member, I thought we would get really
Yeah.
slammed.
No.
And our
not that
community
I
is
know
well
of.
known for like financial, like
Yeah.
we do a good job with this.
Not that they've, in any of the bond ratings that I've sent in, they've never asked this,
Okay.
so.
So these could not have been approved for?
No, because I was
not
already pretty much closed. So they have, the rule of thumb is you have until July 15th to pay it's prior fiscal year, but I'm really still living in FY25, so you would have until July 15th by law to pay for them. And then I usually give them to like the week after the 15th to give me encumbrances, and they can encumber for bills that they haven't, services that they had received by June 30th, but they
Yeah.
haven't been billed for.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these just missed that time period. Like they literally came in like middle of August. One of them, the first one to Mass Municipal, my HR director literally gave it to me Monday. So she's like, I don't know, and it was a previous July 2024 bill.
Oh my
Like, and why hadn't they reconciled since then? We haven't gotten a bill from them. We've gotten bills from them throughout the year, and they've never once said anything. So.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is, if town meeting did say no to any of this, I legally can't pay for it because I don't have I have no way to pay. I have no appropriation to pay for them, so I would have to tell them all no. So that's the only way I can pay for them is if town meeting says yes. So, all right. So the next one we're gonna do transfers between budgets. So these were the capital things that you saw. So that was a 12,000 from building fines and enforcement to legal, and then the 250 from taxation to fund OPEB. So that was that new growth number. And then Article 3 is amendments to the FY26 budget. So this is all the new growth money. So the money to FinCom, the money to HR to fund the retirements, and a couple personal corrections I had that were small. To increase utility costs is the next one, then emergency management, highway, and health insurance. And then Article 4 is all the capital articles, so the board likes us to separate them, everybody else, and then police, fire, DPW separate, because they're always so big. So the beginning, motion 1 is all the town people, or all the town hall people, and then library. And then that's all the free cash except for the 2 raise and appropriate articles there. And then the next one is all the police stuff. And then fire is motion 3. And then DPW and cemetery, I wrote them together and put those in motion 4. And then the last one will be the transfer to stabilization, so regular stabilization and capital from taxation as well. And those are the only ones you guys will have to take stance on. Everything else is bylaw amendments, which you guys don't take a stance on, so.
Anyone have any concerns? We know what we're going into?
And just so you guys know too, the money that I put into supplement health insurance, I didn't have to increase that at all based on the adding the body. Like that's, I will have enough in there. I'm hoping that I have some people jump off the insurance but I'll have enough cushion if they don't, so. Hello.
Oh,
We're all done.
But that's
I
it.
get as much. Other than this.
So just
We-
walk through these.
I'll go grab my
Do
other.
we only have to adjourn this meeting?
So
And then
Sue and I were
reopen?
talking about that. We normally don't. We just usually say we're going to reconvene because we do this at town meeting. We just usually
We only have 5
reconvene.
articles.
I think we're fine.
Of which you walk through.
Right, you opened the meeting though, right?
Yes,
Oh, we can do it
we're
again.
already all set. So, if you want to, do you remember how to stop that?
You want me to stop?
Yeah. Unless you guys have
Do you want me to
questions,
motion to
just continue.
continue
Yeah.
with the Board of Selectmen? I'll take that.
And I'll fill Hank in. Hank
One of
kind
you
of
guys
already.
wanna say second?
Second.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll go grab. I think I printed another pen. I can grab it.
Yeah.
Do you want me to? Yes, I did it then.
Wait a second.
Let me just staple it. Whoop! Staple it for you.
No.
No. Butterfingers today. Steel nail stapler. So this is town meeting booklet.
He's in similar ways that happened.
So the only thing that I don't think that we've talked about yet was our new growth number came in at like 5 million
Did it really?
because of Amazon.
And he does well in school. He always does.
So we're gonna spend some of it on one-time things, so we're gonna dump $1 million into, we're gonna put $1 million into capital, $1.5 million into stabilization, do another $250 into OPEB. Those are all one-time. 450 to health insurance. Highway asked for another body, so we're gonna, what's nice about what they did in their union contract, which hopefully gets settled tonight, is they did a 75-25 split for new hires as of January 1st.
Alright, so when does this get proposed?
This will be for town meeting.
Right.
So that will be an additional body for half the year for highway. And then we're gonna put 2,000 into emergency management because we lost all of our federal monies. So we used to get a grant for 2,000, so we'll help them pay for some stuff. Do some work to our building, either downstairs or something, do something. I know Andrew had talked about doing some, fixing up the senior center downstairs a little bit because it sounds like they're gonna be stuck here. 40,000 into municipal energies because our utility costs have been a little higher. This 20,000 actually gonna be 12,000, and it's gonna come from building fines and enforcements because Kurt's been in court for some of the properties around town, so he's been getting ticketing money, so he'll replenish the legal article. 80,000 because we have a retirement coming, and then I had a couple small personal corrections I had to make, so put some money aside for that. And then Andrew and I had found a like financial article about being like a more financially sound town. You should have more, at least like 1 or 2% of your FinCom reserve fund should be
Yeah, it's
1 or 2% of your budget should be sitting in your reserve fund. So we're gonna bump that up to another 50, so you'd be at 200, and then I'm just gonna budget you at 200
Is
every
this
year.
presented to the
It's
select?
not something
yet.
that he isn't doing, so.
It's gonna be
Get
tonight.
her done.
All right,
Get
so
her
hey
done.
guys,
I
I get just something I wanna talk quickly about before we get in there.
We're still on Steve, just so you know.
Huh?
We're still on, right? Yeah.
No, that's fine. So at the last selectmen's committee, the senior center's proposal went before the board.
Yeah.
They voted it down. They would not allow any article to be put on the warrant, right? Which I thought was wrong. At least let the town vote, okay? Yes or no? Can we make an amendment? Well, now you're saying we've got extra money here, okay?
Right.
More money.
Yep. I mean, I have money in free cash too. Quite a
Can-
bit left.
Can we make an amendment, or can somebody make an amendment at the town hall meeting?
You can
To add
you can
50
add it
dollars.
now. Try adding it now and see if it goes. If they'll support it. There's no reason why you can't. You present the capital art,
Okay.
but you could do it on the floor
I
too.
wanna
Yeah.
do- I'd rather do it on the floor, because I already know how the board of selectmen does.
Yeah, but you could try to add it into the capital improvement plan. Nothing's saying that you can't try now and then try the town meeting floor.
So what they had wanted to do was go before the special town meeting and say, we would like $50,000 to do a feasibility study to see if we can get the Charlton Furniture property made into a senior center.
Right.
All right?
Why did it switch to that building? 'Cause I thought we were talking about the other
We
building
were talking
on
about Trolley Crossing,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So what happened to Trolley Crossing was, the timeline to get it approved, to get it before the town, okay, was going to be next May, right? They would not wait. They had somebody lined up,
Oh,
okay?
okay.
So that particular parcel is in a family trust, okay? I guess the two sisters want their money, and they want to do something, okay? Short end was, they couldn't wait.
Okay.
When we told them, look, we've got to wait for the meetings, they said, no, we're going to sign a lease. So right now, there's a guy up there, or somebody signed a 3-year lease.
Okay.
So that's it. Then that's when they went back down to the
Yeah,
pickleball.
it started at the senior.
It started at the senior
It's
center.
well, it started at
It
Charlton
started at
Furniture.
Charlton Furniture.
Right, but
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm
the
sorry,
amount of
it
money
started
that
at
they,
Charlton,
if
and
they
then
wanted
it's
to do
the
a
amount
lease,
of money they
yeah,
wanted.
they wanted to do a lease to own, and the way they wanted to do it, it was like a 50% interest to the town. Just say that he was going to charge us $1,000 a month, so then 12,000 at the end. 6,000 would have went towards the price of the building. The other 6 would have went into their pocket.
There's multiple buildings up there, which.
Correct. So it would be so
Well,
if you're
bigger
looking
one.
at the lot, it's the big one in the middle and then the little annex
The
building to
little
the
one on
side
the
because the
left.
other one is already
Premier has them.
yeah somebody already has that building.
Premier dance.
So the
Electric.
price has gone down too because now it's just 2 buildings instead of all 3 because they originally wanted us to buy all 3.
Okay.
What
So now
is
it's
the
a
price right
1.8
1.8.
as a purchase price.
And what was it before?
2.2 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2.5 or something like that. I don't know. All right.
It's basically just to see, the feasibility was $50K to see what it would cost to convert it into.
That
or
and to
in
know
and
what the
out.
actual worth of the building is.
Oh.
Like is 1.8 really is that is 1.8
No, a whole
a practical
valuation,
So
cost?
what
all
you're-
money and the whole bit.
What you're proposing is, what is the value of finance committee bringing it tonight versus it being on the floor?
I would try. I would say as finance committee, you guys should try asking for it. I think if you're asking for it, they might just say, you know what, whatever, just let it go. And if they say no, then at that point you can go to the floor and I can help somebody write, just so it is sounds correct and it can go through it.
Well,
And
this
the
is,
reason-
this is
Somebody
my
on the
thought,
floor to
okay?
do
We haven't
it.
talked about it, that's why I want to talk about it, okay?
And
If you
the-
guys don't think it.
Right.
The reason the board shut it down was because of the expenses that we're expecting with
For the
schools
schools.
Right.
and other things that are coming up in the future where they feel that the priority is the schools and not the
Exactly.
senior center.
Exactly.
Correct.
That's
Well,
what-
they put
that's
it
what they're
public
doing.
safety, schools,
Yeah,
and then
without
everybody
knowing
else.
exactly where
Yeah.
we are from a financial standpoint in the
Right.
future.
Is it wasted money? That
The
must be what
schools
they feel.
were-
And that's what one of the selectmen
It
said. We
was
spent a lot of
a
money
lot
on
in
the
there,
public
but-
safety building, and that went to waste because that went nowhere, and we're still paying for it. But
You know,
it's
Jeremy,
for 50
I know
grand.
we need a new high school,
Mhm.
okay? That building is long past its all right? And unfortunately, high school's gonna cost you $200 million plus, okay? okay?
Yeah.
So we're gonna be faced with that within 5 years, 7 years. They need a $3 million roof on Heritage School?
They need like 40,
They need a
they need
lot
like, they
more
need like
than
almost
that on
$45
Heritage,
million
yeah.
dollars in
That's the
repairs
number
to
I heard
that
for the
school.
roof.
Yeah, we have that
Okay,
big
so-
book.
But
Yeah.
but
I
Heritage
think it's
was
like
like in
45
way
million.
worse shape than they expected
Yeah.
when that came out.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
concrete. and-
Yeah, they'd have to
Yeah.
try to get into the MSBA program for that, hopefully, and then hopefully it's reimbursable. But yeah, it's like 43 million in total to that school. Like 45.
So, yes, I know that there are other expenses that are gonna come due, right?
So I left, I left it in your improvement plan here. I just took the dollar amount out, but the line's still there. I just left it blank.
The line is, oh,
Yeah, so that's that blank line, that's there, your COA engineering analysis.
I'm gonna plug this again. I know we're not quite there for it to go anywhere, but if this was being proposed as, could this be a senior center / recreation center? And it could be used for more citizens across the town and cover a larger population, and we could bring in money, revenue through the recreation activities. I could defend that we were gonna bring in revenue that was gonna, at some point, not right away, pay for itself. And that might be something that we could look at the same time as we knew these bills were coming to us
Right.
for the school. I don't
yeah, but
hear it
Judy,
ever
they're
being
gonna
proposed
keep
that way.
this, they're gonna keep this, community center open over here. It's not like they're moving.
Well, the
their-
problem with that community center over there too is it's not, I don't even think they're supposed to be using that building. It's not ADA compliant and it's open to the public and there's another floor
Do you
in it.
mean the arts
can't-
and crafts center?
Yeah.
I don't look at that as the
Community,
recreation
yeah.
center that it could be. If this, again, if it was like recreation that included seniors and youth and everybody, there'd be a revenue possibilities coming.
Right.
And maybe the senior center will bring revenue possibilities. I shouldn't discount
Yeah,
that
but-
thought.
One of the nice things about that particular building is it's basically a
It's a-
post and beam construction.
it's open
It's just a
layout.
big
Yeah.
square with a bunch of columns in the middle, okay? No structural walls on the interior, it's just gonna be a very simple rehab. Is it going to be big enough to support both items at 12,000 square feet? I honestly don't think that.
But you could potentially occupy it at different times because the youth
Or-
are going to be in school when the
They-
seniors are using it during the day.
They have no use for the little building to the left, right?
Is there any land to put fields?
No. No, that's the thing, there's basically no land that goes with that.
I don't necessarily feel like this is for FinCom to solve in a use, like, I think it's a great suggestion, but I think it's for the senior center committee.
Yeah, in general, it's not
Just
our
solve
suggestion to
for-
put on the table.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, that's my personal opinion, that,
Yeah.
that I still feel like as a community, we're missing the mark on the recreation stuff.
And the priorities of things, it should be on there, okay? Is it going to get,
Traction, I don't
Right.
I know, if it brought in revenue, it should get traction, that's my thought on it.
Yeah.
And I think it is a huge opportunity for revenue that we don't capitalize on as a community, but
I think you're a little ahead of the time, slightly.
I mean,
The reason why
maybe
I
for
put-
Charlton, but not for other communities.
Sure.
And we, around this table, we all have had children or have children that are missing out on it right now, that's all. I mean, like, I don't feel like it's ahead of the times because pretty soon my kids' time is done. So.
Well, my kids have their time. So I'm already there.
Whether we want it on this warrant right now, and I think you were kind of to the point where, well, Board of Selectmen just voted it down or took it off last Selectmen meeting.
They didn't take it off, they never allowed it on.
They never allowed it on, but
Right.
it wasn't.
Well, Andrew had it as a placeholder in there, yeah, because he had pitched it.
Are you at the mindset that it would be something we would do on the floor and not tonight?
No, if Ashley's saying that
I mean,
you're
it's up
gonna
to,
present this chart tonight.
well, both these are in your
They're all
booklet.
Yeah.
Separated.
Yeah, they're separated out in your booklet. But theoretically, you could ask them to add into Article 4 another line in the chart for monies to do a study if you wanted to.
And you're
You're the
saying
ones that vote to put this plan into the booklet.
we would need the consent of the entire committee?
Yeah, if that's how you, if that's how you guys are gonna do it. Otherwise, if it's gonna be on the floor, whoever wants to do the motion on the floor, I would just recommend them come see me first, so it's a valid
I
motion.
would say have Pat do the motion.
Yeah, just have her come see me before town meeting so I can give her like a valid motion, so it will go and get approved at the AG's office, so I can legally move the money if it gets approved.
One of the other reasons why I think it's important that we move forward on the senior center in this town, okay, this interesting statistic was 27% of this town is a senior.
I thought it was 33%. I thought, I mean, I know
They
it's
say,
high.
well, I thought I heard 33 by the year 2030 or something.
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
But today it's 27%. That's a good percentage of our population. okay?
Right.
And and not that I'm envious of other towns, but I look at other towns' fire stations, I look at their police stations,
I
I look
do
at
the
their
same thing
senior
every time I drive
centers, and I
around.
say, why the hell, okay? Are we sitting in that little barn down on the road?
You ready for us?
Probably be in heavy deliberations, but we're so far ahead, we've finished everything else and we're ready for you.
Oh, okay, that works.
Exactly.
Do you wanna take a quick vote? Do you guys wanna do it or no?
You're still running the meeting.
I'm still running the meeting, I'm,
Do you want to entertain a motion?
I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we add $50,000 to, what's this called?
The capital plan.
The capital plan,
Do it from free cash,
free cash, for use of a
design study for ceiling.
feasibility study
Yeah.
for the senior center on the pickle property.
One second.
All in favor?